Okay, yung lesson natin is all about angle of elevation and depression. So ito yung aaralin natin for the whole period, anak, no? Angle of elevation and depression. So sa pag-aaralan natin regarding about angle of elevation and depression, ayan mo munang i-define ko ang ibig sabihin ng angle of elevation. Angle of elevation of an object as seen by an observer is the angle between the horizontal and the line from the object to the observer's eye, which is actually the line of sight. Sa angle of elevation, mas mababa ang elevation ng nag-observe kaysa sa object na ino-observe. So, ibig sabihin, ang elevation ng nag-oobserba, nasa mababang lugar lang. And then, yung ino-obserbahan na bagay is mas mataas ang elevation nito. For the illustration, yan. Sa bandang horizontal line natin, observer's eye, mas mababa ang elevation niya kaysa doon sa object na inoobserbahan. Siyempre, ang line of sight natin is papunta doon sa object. Okay? Yung angle of elevation natin, we will use the symbol alpha. For the degree measurement, yung tiny dot circle, i-represent ng tiny dot circle na yan ang ating angle kasi ang unit na ating gagamitin is degree measure. So, alpha ang symbol na gagamitin natin para sa ating angle of elevation. And then, to be followed by the angle of depression. If the object is below the level of the observer, then the angle between the horizontal and the observer's line of sight is called the angle of elevation. Kung kanina sa angle of elevation, mas mababa ang i-level ng nag-o-observe kaysa sa inoobserbahan, dito sa angle of depression, mas mataas ang elevation ng nag-o-observe kaysa sa bagay na inoobserbahan. So kung titingnan natin, nasa taas yung observer's eye natin na nakatingin sa object below. Okay? So yung mata ng nag-o-observe nakatuon sa object, kaya ito yung ating line of sight. At ang angle of depression natin, we will use the symbol beta. So the angle of depression of the object from the observer is the symbol beta. Okay, tandaan natin lagi, anak, no? Na kapag angle of elevation ang pinag-uusapan, mas mababa ang elevation ng nag-o-observe kaysa sa inoobserbahan. Kapag naman angle of depression, mas mataas ang elevation ng nag-o-observe kaysa sa inoobserbaang bagay. So yan ang kaibaan ng angle of elevation and depression. Now, when dealing with the angle of elevation and depression, tandaan mo lagi ito, anak, no? Yung mga bagay-bagay na to. When we're dealing with the angle of elevation and depression, kailangan natin ng kaagapay ng 6 trigonometric functions. Dapat hindi natin nakakalimutan ang mga napag-aralan natin regarding about the 6 trigonometric functions. And these are actually the following na kailangan nating ma-recall. Una, the sine of any angle is always opposite over hypotenuse. To be followed by the cosine of any angle equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And then the tangent of any angle is opposite over adjacent. For the fourth one, cosecant of any angle is hypotenuse over opposite. And then we also have the secant of any angle as hypotenuse over adjacent. And then the cotangent of any angle, correct natin, no? This is adjacent over opposite, not hypotenuse. So correct lang natin yung pagkakasulat. So this is opposite, not hypotenuse. So this must be opposite. So let me rewrite the word or the right word for the denominator. So we have the cotangent of any angle as adjacent over opposite. So yan yung 6 trigonometric functions na hindi natin dapat nakakalimutan. Okay, when dealing with the topic, angle of elevation and depression. Now let's proceed to the next slide. Maliban dyan, anak, kailangan natin ng, okay, sample problem na ba tayo kaagad? Okay. Tignan muna natin, no? I-double check natin yung ating slide. And show muna natin. Okay, let us see. Okay, tama. Sample problem na tayo kaagad. Okay. So, sample problem number 1. From the top of a vertical cliff 40 meters high, the angle of depression of an object that is level with the base of the cliff is 34 degrees. How far is the object from the base of the cliff? So, from the word angle of depression, ibig sabihin niya, anak, yung nag-o-observe, mas mataas ang elevation niya kaysa doon sa ino-observe. So, ibig sabihin, yung nag-o-observe, nasa top. If we're going to draw the figure na gustong ipaiwatig ng ating problem kung i-analyze natin, so meron tayong vertical cliff. So, yung nag-o-observe, ibig sabihin, nasa taas na mayroong 40-meter eye. And then, how do we draw the problem? For a solution, yan. Kung titingnan natin yung ating problem, i-analyze natin sa top ng clip. Nandiyan yung nag-observe doon sa object. Okay? So kung drawing natin, kung pagbabasyan natin kung saan nilalagay yung triangle, ito actually yung triangle natin, anak. Yan. Ito yung top ng clip. Nandito yung nag-observe. At ito yung bagay na ating ino-observe. Yung 34 degrees na nasa taas, ito yung ating angle of depression. Angle of depression yan, no? AD. Can you follow, anak? Nakakasunod ba? Hindi natin
Opo,
dito
sir.
ilalagay yung angle natin kasi kapag dito, angle of elevation yan. So, tanda ng triangle natin sa angle of depression, ganito lang ang shape lagi. Inverted triangle. O kaya, pwede naman ganito. Yan. And then, laging nandito sa dalawang yan ang ating angle of depression. So, dalawang klaseng triangle lang ang may drawing natin sa angle of depression, no? Maybe this one or the other one. But in this case, ito yung triangle natin. Okay? Since ito yung 34 degrees, definitely this is our opposite. Okay? But our opposite is also 40 meters. Ito yan. Kung 40 meters yung height dito, 40 meters din yan, anak. And then, ang tanong, how far is the object from the base of the cliff? Ito yung base ng ating cliff. Okay? Gaano daw kalayo yung object sa base ng cliff? So, ito yung ating hinahanap. It is actually the distance x. If this is x, that is also x. And this side is actually our adjacent. This is our adjacent side. Now, so tingnan natin, no? Opposite, adjacent, and the reference angle. So kung pipili tayo ng function na involved or magagamit natin sa pagsusolve ng problem na to, sa palagay mo, anak, ano yung right function na pwedeng magamit natin?
Ano po, nakalimutan ko. Ano po,
Just always remember
adjacent po tsaka
SOHCAHTOA.
po opposite, di ba?
Yes, adjacent and opposite are both involved. What do you
May
think?
nakalimutan ko, sir.
SOHCAHTOA lang yan, anak.
Nakalimutan ko.
SOHCAHTOA. So,
Um,
means opposite over hypotenuse, that is sine. CAH, that is cosine, is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. TOA means tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. Tangent of any angle is opposite over adjacent. Saan ba parehong meron? Ang adjacent at ang opposite. Anong function makikita mo pareho ang adjacent at opposite?
Ano po, sir? Kalimutan ko po.
Okay, if I will write here, so, ka, TOA. Nakarali mo yung mga previous lessons natin, ano? So, katowa, yan.
Opo.
O, alin dyan ang pipiliin mo? Sa tatlo.
Yung ano po, yung ka.
Why ka? Wala namang given na hypotenuse, anak. Di ba? Age is hypotenuse.
Ay, ano po, towa po.
TOA,
Tangent.
yes. Okay, nak. Okay, focus ka lang, nak, no? Tangent of any angle is opposite over adjacent. Bakit opposite over adjacent? Kasi inahanap natin ang value ng adjacent at given naman ang opposite. At yung angle natin, given. Hindi natin pipiliin yung sine at saka yung cosine kasi wala namang involvement o kinalaman ng hypotenuse sa ating problem, no? Hindi naman given yung hypotenuse. Now, pwede na nating isolve ngayon yung problem. Okay, let me erase muna yung mga ibang nakasulat. Okay, so this is how do we solve the problem. Okay, erase ko muna yung iba, no? Para ay maganda yung presentasyon ng ating solusyon. So since we're going to use tangent, okay, yan ha, 34 degrees is our reference angle. The 40 meter is our opposite, and then x will be our adjacent. And then the tangent of any angle is equal to opposite over adjacent. So meaning tangent 34 is opposite over adjacent. Tangent 34, ang opposite natin is 40, ang adjacent is x. And then mag-algebra lang tayo dito. Let us just interchange x and tangent 34 in their positions. Okay, so we have x equals to 4 tangent 34. If we're going to use our scientific calculator, we can obtain a value of x which is equal to 59.30 meters. Ang ibig sabihin, ang layo ng object from the base of the cliff is 59.30 meters. And this is our problem number 1. Klaro ba ang pagkakasolve ng ating problem number 1, anak? Before we proceed to
Opo, sir.
okay, so let's proceed to problem number 2. So for our problem number 2, pakibasa mo nga, Julius.
From the top of the tower, a man finds that the angle of a depression of a car on the ground is 30 degrees. If the car is at a distance of 40 meters from the tower, find the height of the tower.
Okay, allow me to read it again. From the top of a tower, a man finds that the angle of depression of car on the ground is 30 degrees. If the car is at a distance of 40 meters from the tower, find the height of the tower. So, yung involved na naman na angle dito is angle of depression. So, again, I'm reminding you na dalawang klaseng triangle lang. Maaaring ganyan yung triangle natin o ganito yung ugis. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong tower. Okay, let us draw the tower first. Okay, pakita ko sa iyo yung figure. Yan, ito yung ating tower, yung rectangular na nakakulay blue. Yan. And then, sa taas niyan, merong guy. Yan. So, ito yung tao natin. Yan. So, nandyan yung guy. Okay. From this point, okay, from the top of a tower, man finds at the angle of depression. Ito yung angle of depression natin. Of a car. So, nandito yung kotse sa point na yan. Ito yung object na ino-observe natin. Nasa point na yan. So, ibig sabihin, nandito yung car. And so happen na nalaman niya na ang angle of depression is 30 degrees. If the car is at a distance of 40 meters from the tower, ito yung distance, 40 meters. Kung 40 meters ito, anak, definitely yung side na to is also 40 meters. Okay? So, inaanap is yung height ng tower. Ito yung height ng tower. Gaano kataas yung tower na yan. Okay? And so happen kung ano yung height dito sa triangle na to. Yan. Ito rin yung height. Okay, pareho lang. Now, if 30 degrees is our angle of depression, ang tawag din natin sa 30 degrees na yan is also a reference angle. Okay? Since ito yung reference angle natin, lahat ng mga sides na kakailanganin natin at may involvement sa problem para masolve natin, lagyan natin ng function. Okay? Ang 40 meter is actually our adjacent. And then, ang height naman or age is actually our opposite. Now, tingnan mo yung mga involved na sides, anak. Opposite and adjacent. What do you think is the right function that we're going to use in this problem? Again, sukatuwa.
Ano po, sir?
Tingnan mo yung mga involved na side kung ano yung pangalan, anak.
Tangent po.
Okay, very good. Nakuha mo siya. Why tangent? Kasi opposite and adjacent are involved. And beside, wala namang given na hypotenuse at hindi naman pinapaanap ang hypotenuse. Hindi rin given ang hypotenuse. So, pinag-uusapan lang dyan is yung height at saka yung distance. Since pinapaanap yung height at given naman ang distance, sa makatuwid, given ang opposite at adjacent, and given ang ating angle of depression, which is also a reference angle, ang gagamitin natin is tangent. That is why tangent of 30 degrees is equal to opposite over adjacent since TOA yan. Now, ang opposite natin is actually the height. And our adjacent is actually the distance of 40 meters. So let us substitute them. Tangent 30 is equal to the height over 40 meters. Then let us apply some algebra process. Yung 40 meters, cross-multiply natin sa tangent 30. We will do or apply cross-multiplication. 40 times tangent 30. That is why, ang arrival ng ating computation is 40 times tangent 30 is actually equal to the height of the tower. And now, to calculate, using our calculator, scientific calculator, ang na-obtain nating sagot, 23.09 meters. Ang ibig sabihin, ang taas ng tower is 23.09 meters. Maybe 7 to 8 floor yan, anak, no? 7-story building siguro or 8-story building kasi usually sa building 3 meters ang height or 2 point something. Okay, ang sagot sa problem number 2 is 23.09 meters. So let us proceed to another problem. Pero klaro ba ang problem number 2, anak? Malinaw ba? Klaro ba?
Opo, sir.
Okay. So
Klaro
let's
po.
proceed to another sample problem. Application ng angle of depression and elevation. Sample problem number 3. Pakibasa nga, Julius, anak.
From a point on the ground, 7 From a point on the ground, 47 feet from the foot of a tree, the angle of depression of the top of the tree is 35
pakiulit.
degrees.
It is not
Find
depression.
the height of the tree to this
Pakibasa mo ulit, anak. Hindi siya
elevation
depression.
on
Elevation
the
siya,
top
yes.
angle of elevation of the top of the tree is 35 degrees. Find the height of the tree to the nearest foot.
So, pinapa-round up yung sagot sa nearest foot, ano? Ibig sabihin, whole number yan. Pero basahin ko uli. From a point on the ground, 47 feet from the foot of a tree, the angle of elevation of the top of the tree is 35 degrees. Find the height of the tree to the nearest foot. So, yan yung figure natin. Ito yung tree. Okay? At ito naman yung height ng tree. Designated variable is letter x. Ang function ng x is the height of the tree. Yan ang ating tree. Christmas tree. Okay? So, ito yung ating angle of elevation. 35 degrees. Yan. Okay? So, from a point on the ground, ito yung point on the ground. Point A, 47 feet ang layo doon sa paanan ng puno. So, ito yung 47 feet natin, yung layo niya. So, inaanap yung height. Ito yung ating angle of elevation, 35 degrees. Okay, allow me to continue again para ma-discuss ng klaro. Ang 35 degrees na ating angle of elevation, ito din yung ating reference angle. Now, if 35 degrees is our reference angle, anak, ano yung x? Anong function ng x?
Yung 47 feet po.
Hindi, anak, kung ang reference angle natin is 35 degrees, okay? Kung ito yung ating reference angle, anong tawag sa height, sa x? Ano yung function niya? Is it hypotenuse? Is it opposite or adjacent? Ano yung x?
Opposite po.
Okay, tama. How about 47? Could that be?
Adjacent po.
Yes, pareho. Tumama kang pareho, anak. Okay, let's continue. So, 35 degrees is our reference angle and it is also our angle of elevation. Now, x is our opposite and 47 is our adjacent. Again, if involve ang opposite at adjacent, anong function ang gagamitin?
Tangent po, sir.
Tangent. So, tangent of 35 is equal to opposite over adjacent or tangent 35 is equal to x over 47. Okay, again, tangent of 35 is equal to opposite over adjacent. But our opposite is x and 47 is our adjacent. Direct substitution. Tangent 35 is equal to x over 47. And then for the continuation of our computation, to solve for x, kailangan lang nating i-cross multiply ang 47 sa tangent 35. Doing that, x is equal to 47 times tangent 35. Computing for it using your scientific calculator, ang value ng ating x, 32.91 feet. Kaso pinaparound up, no? Pinaparound up. 33 feet. So, nasa nearest foot na yan. So, kailangan whole number ang ating sagot. Kasi, sabi dito, nearest foot. So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong 33 talampakan or 33 feet. Okay, kung hindi round off, we have 32.91 feet. So, yan ang ating sagot para sa height ng ating 3 sa nearest foot. So, we have 33 foot. Klaro ba ang problem number 3, Julius anak?
Opo, sir. Klaro
Okay, so
po.
nakatalong problem na tayo. So, let's proceed to another worded problem. So, huwag mong kakalimutan yung mga napag-aralan natin, anak, no? So, pang-anim na session na natin ngayon. And lahat nakasave sa channel natin, sa YTC natin. Matinik at ang musikero. Panuorin mo lagi. Okay, let's proceed. Sample problem number 4. Pakibasa nga, Julius anak, ang sample problem number 4.
From the point P on the ground, the angle of elevation of an airplane is 23 degrees. The altitude of the plane is 1,200 meters. What is the distance from point P to the airplane to the nearest tenth of a meter?
Okay, nearest tenth tayo, no? So, ibig sabihin, after ng decimal point, sa unang numero tayo, kailangan ang sagot natin nasa nearest tenths. So, di ko nalagyan ng S, no? Lagyan na natin para yan, nearest tenths. So, ibig sabihin, may decimal yan. 1 decimal place tayo. If we're going to analyze the problem, allow me to read it again. From point P on the ground. So, nasa ground, point P. The angle of elevation of an airplane, ibig sabihin yung airplane nasa taas. Okay? O, drawing ko bago ko ipakita yung figure. Yung ground natin at a certain point, P. Let us just assume that this is point P. And then, the angle of elevation of an airplane, ibig sabihin, nandito yung airplane natin. Okay, lumilipad, no? Okay, yan yung airplane natin. So, nakatingin yung observer sa airplane. Connect natin. Ito yung ating angle of elevation na 23 degrees. Okay? The altitude of the plane is 1,200 meters. Ang taas. So, this is 1,200 meters. So, we're looking for the distance from point P to the airplane. Ano yung hinahanap na distance? Ito, anak, yung horizontal. Okay? Ito, yung layo lang ng mata yan sa airplane Pero yung distansya talaga, kasi ito yung level ng airplane is ito. Okay, so let us see kung tama yung analysis natin, ano? Okay. So, ito yung figure ng ating problem. Yan. So, baliktad tayo. Pero almost the same lang. Nasa kaliwa lang yung point natin. Okay? So, tama yung analysis natin. So, point P on the ground, the angle of elevation is 23. So, yung point ng observer natin is P. Ang ino-obserbahan is nasa taas. So, angle of elevation tayo dahil mas mataas ang elevation ng ino-obserbahan kaysa sa nag-observe. So, ang altitude ng airplane is 1,200 meters. So, as a continuation, 23 degrees is actually our angle of elevation. And this is also a reference angle. Now, yung 1,200 meter is our opposite. And then sa baba naman, yung distansya na hinahanap natin, let us just assume that this is distance x or whatever na variable na nagamit natin sa ating computation. No? So, ito yung ating adjacent. Hinahanap natin is yung value ng adjacent. Okay? Yung distance from here hanggang doon. Okay, anong involved na function sa palagay mo, anak, ang gagamitin natin dito?
Tangent po, sir.
Nandyan pa rin. Kasi involved ang opposite and adjacent. And wala namang kinalaman yung hypotenuse. Since hindi naman given yung hypotenuse, ano? Okay, so let's proceed. Tangent of 23 is equal to opposite over adjacent. Okay, adjacent ang hinahanap natin. So, substitution. Tangent 23 is equals to 1,200 over distance. Adjacent is also the distance. Okay? Ito rin yung ating distance na inahanap. Okay, para klaro lang, no? Yung x, ito rin yung ating distance na inahanap. So, ano ba yung distance na yan? So, dahil distance ang hinahanap natin, interchange lang yung dalawa, yung tangent 23 and the distance. Kasi yung hinahanap natin is denominator ng opposite ng fraction natin So, interchange na lang. So, distance now is equal to 1,200 over tangent 23. Yan. So, with the aid of your calculator, using your calculator, we can now calculate 1,200 over tangent 23. And finally, we have this result. So, nilagyan ko ng 0.0, nak, no? Kahit na eksakto yung sagot, 2,827. So, nilagyan ko pa rin ng 0.0. Para
Sir,
lang, yes, anak. Question?
kailangan po ng may point zero kahit wag na po.
Pwedeng wag na, pero dahil nearest tenths, pakita ko lang yung isang decimal. Pero kahit wala yan, okay lang Kasi eksakto naman talaga yung sagot. Pinakita ko lang kasi to the nearest tenths daw So yung after ng first decimal place natin, yung position ng 0, yung place value na is actually nasa tenths. Kung pagbabas yan is decimal. Kaya nilagay ko lang. Pero kahit alisin yan, okay naman anak. 2,827 meters ang ating sagot. Klaro ba, anak, ang problem?
Opo, sir. Klaro po.
Kasi may decimal pa yan, round up mo, zero pa rin. Right after ng zero na yan, may decimal point pa dyan eh. I think hindi eksakto yung 1,200 over tangent 23. Kaya lang, nakataon na after ng decimal zero, and then yung susunod pang numero ng zero is below 5. Kaya kapag renound up mo ng nearest 10, zero ang makukuha natin. Pinakita ko pa rin. Okay, klaro ba anak? Yung sample problem number 4?
Klaro po, sir.
Okay, so let us proceed to our next problem. So we have now our sample problem number 5. Pakibasa nga anak.
A flagpole 18 feet tall casts a shadow 12 feet long at a specific time of day. Find to the nearest degree the angle of elevation of the sun at this time.
Of day, okay. So I will read it again. A flagpole 18 feet tall casts a shadow of 12 feet long at a specific time of day. Find to the nearest degree the angle of elevation of the sun at this time of day. Yung flagpole, syempre naka-vertical yan, no? Dahil siguro mainit ang sikat ng araw and then maliwalas yung panahon, natural, may anino yung flagpole. Yung taas ng flagpole, 18 feet. Ang yung anino ng flagpole naman na naka-horizontal is 12 feet long. Ang usapan dito is angle of elevation. Kaya kung drawing natin yan, actually, ito yung flagpole natin, anak. Oh. Ito yan. So, ito yung watawat. Okay? And then, ito yung point. Bakit? Kasi ito yung anino ng flagpole. Ito yung shadow niya. Okay? Ito yung shadow na 12 feet. Ito naman yung height ng flagpole is 18 feet. Natural, angle of elevation, ito pinag-uusapan nating angle at yan ang unknown angle natin. Now, the unknown angle is actually our reference angle. Definitely. And then, alpha pala ang ginamit natin, no? Hindi theta. So, palitan natin yung theta. So, nakasulat na dyan. So, we use the symbol of theta for the angle of elevation. Since angle of elevation is our reference angle, okay, we have 18 feet and 18 feet is our opposite. Angle of elevation is yun yung reference angle natin eh. And then yung 12 feet naman na nasa baba, ito yung ating adjacent. So opposite, adjacent na naman ang involved. Anong function anak?
Tangent po.
Tangent pa rin. So the tangent of alpha now is equal to opposite over adjacent. So may value ang opposite, may value ang adjacent, direct substitution. So direct substitution, tangent alpha is equals to 18 over 12. So paano ba ang pagpindot sa calculator? Una, 18 divide by 12, then press equal. And then afterward, shift tangent, then equal. Or pwede rin namang idiretso mo, pindutin mo muna shift tangent, ibig sabihin inverse tangent. And then parenthesis yan, 18 divide by 12 and then close, then press equal. Ang makukuha nating sagot ng ating alpha, the angle of elevation alpha is actually equal to 56.31 degrees. Now, kung i-round up natin yan, dahil nearest degree tayo, 57 degrees ang sagot, anak. Pero dyan, nilagay ko lang yung accurate, no? 56.31. Kaya lang, kung pinaparound up yan, we have 57 degrees. Okay? Kung di ko man nasulat yung 57, okay lang. Pero pwede naman nating isulat. Kung i-round up natin yan, 57 degrees na eksakto. Kasi nga, nearest degree daw eh.
Sir, happy po.
Okay, malinaw ba anak?
Opo, sir.
So 57 degrees kasi nearest degree. Pero kung walang nearest degree, find the angle of elevation lang, ito yung sagot natin. And since ang requirement, nearest degree, kailangan nating i-round up yung 56.31 degrees sa nearest degree. So yan yung ating mga problems in our session for today. Next meeting, we will be proceeding to some problems again under ng trigonometric functions. And then, isusunod na natin yung oblique triangles. Yung law of cosine and the law of sines, yun naman ang ating tatalakayin. Take note, ang applicable lang sa 6 trigonometric function is yung puro mga right triangles lang, anak, no? And then Pythagorean theorem, pwede rin
Opo,
sa right
sir.
triangle. Definitely, pang right triangle ang Pythagorean theorem kasama ng 6 trigonometric function and accompanied also by the sum of angle formula. And then wag mo rin kakalimutan yung mga naituro ko sa iyo about the two types of spatial triangle, yung 30 by 60 by 90 and 45 by 45 by 90 sa paghahanap or pag-evaluate ng mga trigonometric functions na gagamit natin ng mga yon. And then last time, diniscuss ko rin sa iyo
Opo.
kung paano ba na-derive ang 30 by 60 by 90 degree spatial type of triangle using using the equilateral triangle na nag-assume tayo ng 2 units ang bawat measurement ng bawat side. Okay, klaro ba anak ang ating discussion in this session? Wala ka bang gustong i-raise na tanong, anak?
Wala po, sir.
Klaro sigurado ka anak, no?
Chat ko po kayo if meron.
Okay, anak, I'll wait for that para mas maging klaro sa iyo ang mga
Sige po.
pinag-uusapan natin. And that's all for today, anak. Thank you and God bless you so much. Okay, aral ka ng mabuti, Julius anak, no?
Thank you din po, sir.
Okay.